Hello, everyone. My name is Wim van Kouwenberg. I'm a director of BEMAS, and I'm very happy to welcome you at this third presentation of the Asset Performance 4.0 Award 2020. So we have an award going on, a contest going on. We had already 2 presentations, and this is the 3rd presentation. I'm very happy that Yara is also one of the contenders. They're going to talk about digital production and risk management in a 4.0 context. They had a case at Yara Tertre, so this is in Belgium. And I'm very happy that we have with us Aurélien Vlam and Mr. Alexander Hoyby of Yara. So welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome, welcome. So you're in fact based in Yara Tertre. Is that correct, Mr. Vlam?
Yes, that's it. I'm production manager for the Yara Tertre site. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So why is what was for you the motivation to participate in this contest?
The main motivation was to first of all to compare with other competitor where Yara is on the digital production, let's say, initiative, and also to permit also to other, let's say, colleagues and competitor to say that we are on a journey as well, that our assets are quite big. It's a big manufacturing industry, the fertilizer industry, and that's in such a big industry and big market, let's say, you can deploy interesting, let's say, application and 4.0 application as well. And Yara has put a lot of effort on developing, let's say, a department dedicated to that. And Alexander will show you, let's say, what is the strategy about it and the expectation on the coming years as well, with practical, let's say, application dedicated to Yara Tertre, which was supported by the digital production segment, but as well by some site initiative as well. So it's an opportunity as well to make some rewarding to the colleague which is supporting us on the day-to-day activities inside the site and as well on the corporate point of view.
Yeah, so I can imagine producing fertilizer is a dangerous job, isn't it?
Everything is dangerous when we are not performing, let's say, as it should. I mean that we have quite strong corporate guideline regarding the production of the fertilizer. We have technical operational standards. We have health operational standards. So we are on the corporate point of view really following this kind of guideline. And the application as well that we try to develop and which is ongoing, let's say, to roll out is also participating to the process safety of the site and of the manufacturing assets.
And I can imagine that's why also risk management in the 4.0 context is important.
Exactly. That's why here it's interesting to share why is the strategy on the corporate point of view about the process safety, which is on the hot of the list on the process safety point of view, but also how we are managing the application in line with this corporate approach on the process safety point of view.
Okay, so Alexander, is it Hoyby or Hoyby?
Hoyby is pretty good, I have to say. I'll give you, yeah, that's a good pronunciation of the name.
Yes, thank you. So Hoyby, welcome too. So you're the program manager at Yara Digital Production. So why digitization, why is it important for Yara?
Well, I think we will get back to it also a bit during our presentation, but really we see it as a natural next step on our improvement journey. And really, to be frank, as I will get back to, we also see it as a necessity. If we as a company want to stay competitive in the way the world is moving, we have to invest into this field.
Okay, so we are very curious on what you have to say. So please take the presenter screen and go ahead.
Thank you. So first of all, again, thanks for inviting us to present and for the nomination. And so what we plan to do now is to start off with a bit of context, who is Yara, what is Yara, and what is this overall ongoing journey on digital for Yara on a corporate point of view. And then we will spend, I would say, the most part of this presentation, the big bulk of it, to dig into concrete examples of what digital means, what type of value it can bring to a production site, when then Aurélien will take over and talk about it from the Tertre perspective. But if we just start with a couple of words on Yara, for those of you who maybe do not know us that well. So Yara is the world's leading fertilizer company. And if we zoom in on what that means from a production point of view, we see here that we manage 27 production sites and 2 mining operations spread across 15 countries. And that's from Australia in the east to Canada in the west. And across these production sites, we produce products like ammonia, nitric acid, urea, nitrates, NPK, to name a few. And in total, we produce roughly 30 million tons of product every year. That is then distributed and sold to, I would say, most countries in the world. And at these production sites, we are more than 7,000 Yara employees, and of course, a range of external contractors as well. So you can probably multiply that number with a certain percentage to get to the real number of employees and people at site. So as any other major manufacturer, we are constantly chasing improvement opportunities. And as a company, we've been on a lean journey now for some time. And as I mentioned at the very beginning, we really see digital as the next natural step on that improvement journey, where we see really an opportunity for another drastic step change. And if you saw that guy on the previous slide holding a tablet, it's not that easy, not that hard for us to use a bit of imagination and to see really that there is a real improvement opportunity here from equipping our field operators with tablets versus the pen and paper that many of them still use today, also at our production sites. But when I say that there is a real and a significant improvement opportunity, what does that really mean? But for us in Yara, we see that there is at least $500 million that is up for the taking here in terms of value creation on an annual basis. But the value in terms of the financials is only part of it. We also, of course, believe, as we will get back to, that there is significant improvement opportunities in our HESC performance that we can realize through digital tools and applications. And not only that, I think there's also some softer benefits, which maybe are not as explicit, but really being seen as an attractive employer in the world of today also means that we need to invest in making sure that we equip our employees with the right tools and the solutions. So if we look at that opportunity, we think that it's simply too big to ignore. And frankly speaking, as I mentioned, we believe that we have to go after that opportunity if we want to stay competitive. And as a basis of that, we have established a clear vision as a company. Really, what we are saying is that we want to establish Yara as the globally leading digital manufacturer. And what do we mean by globally leading? I mean, what we are really saying is that we want to be the most advanced company within crop nutrition, and we want to be among the top five chemical companies globally. And that's not going to be easy. And I think we've seen that also earlier today. There is a lot of really interesting movements and developments going on in a lot of different companies. But of course, we want to aim high. And how do we establish ourselves as a leading company? Well, we need then to also make sure that we show real impact. And to go after and realize that impact, Yara has set up a central team, digital production, that I'm representing. And then, of course, we work very closely with each and every production site. The central team, we've set up around 5 value streams, what we call also solution areas. And you see them here on the screen today. From plant steering on the left, which is about production optimization, into digital operations, which is really about increasing both the efficiency and the safety of our manual operations, which will still have to take place also in a digital future. Digital reliability, looking into, for example, predictive maintenance. I think NG gave a very good example of that earlier today. And as I also mentioned, we run mines. So there is also some specificities in terms of how to run an open pit mine, which means that we have set up a solution area around that. And also in a solution area around engineering. And as a company, we also, of course, deliver large CapEx projects where there are also real opportunities for improvements through digital applications. This, of course, is all built on top of what we call the digital production platform. The digital production platform is the global cloud platform that allows us to have easy access to data remotely. It allows scalability to share components between solutions, and of course also allows us to ensure that all of these developments are developed and deployed in a secure manner, which of course is also a very important topic. But then I actually, as I said, I would want to end this part of the sort of overall corporate context with a bit of a statement, because it's easy when we talk about digital and Industry 4.0 to be dragged into talking a lot about the technology. But the principle that we really put forward and is front and center of all the work we do is value first. The technology does not really help us unless we are solving real problems. So the way we work in the central team and the way we work together with the production sites is that we always need to first understand what is the problem and then understand how can we solve it. But as I think I will hand over now to Aurélien, there are plenty of opportunities to do this. There are plenty of real problems to go after. And I will hand over to Aurélien, who will give us a bit of concrete examples on that from the Yara Tertre perspective. So Aurélien, I'll hand over the word to you.
Thank you, Alexander. So here the main is to present a brief overview of different digital application example, which was developed at Yara Tertre site in Belgium till actually 2014 already, the journey started, with the support of the digital production department or by direct site initiative. I will try to share with you how this 4.0 digital initiative are in line with our corporate process safety risk management overview and overall productivity maintenance governance ambitions as well. But at least some words about the Yara Tertre site. Yara Tertre is a vzw site, a high-level vzw site, founded in 1928 and employing around 270 workers and 100 subcontractors. Its annual production capacity achieve around 900,000 tons of nitrogen fertilizer. So it's a kind of medium site, I would say, on the Yara corporate overview. The nitrogen fertilizer is the final product, but we are also producing some secondary, let's say, chemical product here, valuable for the plant. This project is representing 3% of the turnover volume of the Walloon chemical sector here in Belgium. The natural gas represents 70% of our production costs. The ammonia plant facility, with a power of 550 megawatt, is consuming almost 2% of the total natural gas consumption in Belgium. By seeing that, it means that 15% of primary energy consumed in Wallonia is deserved to Yara Tertre. Process safety management system in Yara is built by 4 pillars and 20 elements based on risk-based process safety, as it is proposed in the CCPS governance, well known by the specialist. This structure is a real guideline which is created and available towards the Yara steering system and where all of process safety politics is designed for. You can find there important elements like hazard identification and risk analysis, standard operating procedure and asset integrity, conduct operation, measurement and metrics. The following slide will describe some 4.0 digital application, just some of them, which directly or indirectly impact this constituting element described here. But go to practical. So here, the first example is described our application design in 2016 for our plant asset integrity operating windows and rotating machinery follow-up. Basically, Yara technical operational standards are requiring the development and follow-up of an integrity operating window and rotating monitoring dedicated application with reporting and meeting frequency requirements. The challenge is that there is no defined application that are provided or proposed. It's really up to the site to define it. Available data are quite raw, with no defined filtering, and reporting can be an issue as well. By this, we have defined new digital application extracting direct process data from PHG with adapt alarm events registration and dedicate automatic PDF report. Here's some screenshots from the rotating machinery follow-up application where you can design follow-up easily and automatically different rotating parameters with the possibility of timelining and trending. For the integrity operating window application, here you can see different range and type of alarm designed for different type of critical asset with as well automatic email alert defined for dedicated type of user, like in production, maintenance, or NDT department. So everyone is aware on the same time about the out of range, which is ongoing, let's say, for major equipment, which can afterwards adapt the different inspection methodology, which will be foreseen during a turnaround. You can see that for dedicated parameter, you have the possibility to go through each and describe exactly the difference deviation observed and register it by the digital application. This application designed here by the software company YDTech, which is a Belgium company at least, are completely user-friendly and can be tuned by process specialists or dedicated technical department. In 2017, we decided to modernize our process trending system. Optimal operations are requiring to be data-driven for any decision-making and root cause problem solving. So we dispose of a large data historian, has a big manufacturing site, but with poor trending and analytics capabilities. So it was decided to introduce to our operation facility a self-service analytic tools. This tools is connected to multiple databases and ensure access to multiple trend analytics platform. This trending specific digital application developed here by TrendMiner is mainly used in order to identify events, analyze them, and propose deep analysis with associated root cause and or process optimization. This tool is ensuring optimal operation by democratizing analytics. We continue here with the plant steering dedicated application providing an energy plant load, which is, as you know, important for the site, has a big energy consumer, which is online and with advanced analytics dedicated modeling. As mentioned already, the energy usage is the major cost component for ammonia production facility, and by this has a significant impact on profitability of the site. But plant efficiency is erratic, following process knowledge, some instability, and external factor like outside temperature, for instance. Prior to this, having internal reference for what good performance looks like was a real challenge and time-consuming. Solution was provided by the introduction of a web visual energy load curve with performance visual and providing guidance to operator based on the advanced analytics model database. So here is the online energy load curve developed with the software company Pepit. This screenshot here is describing where you can see what you can see to the theoretical load curve in red and the actual position of the process compared to the curve following the operational point. This visual is also proposing action to operator by the advanced analytics modeling process which is behind, in order to achieve a best demonstrating operating point. This digital application commissioned in 2018 is ensuring a continuous improvement philosophy to the shift, which is completely in line with our lean model organization setup, which is ongoing, with an average energy saving already demonstrated at 0.15 gigajoule per ton produced. So let's continue our digital journey with the commissioning in 2019 of an advanced process controller, APC. This APC was completely integrated into the digital control system, DCS, at our ammonia plant facility. A normal dynamic process variation in plant operation means variation in specific energy, productivity, and risk of upset. This APC is interfering with the DCS application as an interdependent system. Challenge resides in adapted dedicated analytics, simulation, and PNAD tuning loops expertise necessary prior to the test and the commissioning. Yara Digital Production Department decided to introduce an overall APC deployment for its major production asset facilities with a dedicated priority for the ammonia plants where the dedicated cost saving are foreseen to be the more important. After commissioning of the APC at Yara ammonia plant, a first saving of 0.15 gigajoule per ton additional was observed with an extra daily productivity of around 20 tons per day. You can easily see here the benefit of the APC described on the operational curve of the plant where the orange points are the operational point with the APC running. So you can see that for the same production rates, the energy consumed is quite lower compared to the APC off. Looks promising, isn't it? And a few months ago, we decided to launch a digital operation application dedicated to digital control run. At Yara plant facility, there is more than 100,000 of control runs that are executed every year to secure safe and reliable operation. But the process today is really paper-based, which is quite difficult to manage in terms of consistency, non-conformities, and insight observation over time. By this, digital production segment decided to roll out a dedicated mobile web app for digital control run to ensure optimized and standardized runs with conditional workflow tracking and unlock hidden insight from field observation over time. So here you can see some photo of the dedicated hardware, which is ATEX hardware material, which were provided in order to facilitate the digital run into industrial potential severe condition as well. In addition, here on the left, you can see the operator mobile interface, and on the right, what we can see on the dashboard tracking, it's a Power BI reporting for the observation and deviation over time. So it means that we can see in real time, it's refreshed every 1 hour. We can see mainly in real time what is the deviation observed on the field directly and take action when needed. Last application here described is concerning digital operation with a maintenance execution application dedicated that we would like to launch already in few months in the Tertre site. With more than 1 million individual maintenance operations they are being executed every year at our facility, the efficiency of the operation have a big impact on our ability to maintain and improve our assets. There is a gap between the work planning and execution resulting in waste. As I already mentioned, we are completely on the lean journey where waste management is really important. This mobile application will ensure the right information for the technician and the ability to give live feedback on progress and deviation, enabling improved planning and execution for the next time. Here you can see some screenshots, including what is on the today plan for the workers, the taking on job, the feedback loop, including the timing afterwards. So we have completely loop meters, which is ensuring, let's say, the journey of the workers during his day. But in Yara Tertre ammonia plants, on the OEE point of view, we were really heavily impacted by a major equipment upset between 2016 and 2019. With the new equipment right now online, we are demonstrating now an improved OEE performance trends with expected stability promoted by the digital application developed and ongoing, ensuring avoid recurring loss or unscheduled downtime. The message which is really important here is that you have not to wait to be the best in class to develop application. You can already start the journey, even let's say your plant is not performing as expected, it's perhaps an opportunity to make some development, some tests in order to ensure that when you are ready, let's say, to be back online and back to best performer, you're already ready, let's say, to use this application starting, let's say, prior. By the way, coming back to the risk and maintenance impact overview, we can classify the risk pillar element for different digital production initiative category with the hazard identification and risk analysis for all applications demonstrated today, the standard operating procedure covered by the digital control run, for instance, and in line with our lean organization setup ongoing, the asset integrity and conduct of operation covered as well by all the applications demonstrated today, and where the list is not exhaustive. Measurement and metrics also covered by the different plant steering and digital reliability application already in place. But this direct process safety risk impact has not to hide the indirect important impact that is digital application while journey can bring to the production facility, like the know-how, the attractivity, which is really important. We know right now that the millennials are there, they are on the market. If we have some difficulty to achieve and to access to some data, the millennium and the high potential will leave the company as well. So the attractivity of the tools, the facility of acceding to the data is really important as well for the talent development of the corporate company. Data consistency and accessibility, process and maintenance reactivity, and for sure, the overall time saving. Many thanks for your attention, and we are ready for the Q&A.
Yes, hello. Thank you very much also for your presentation. It was quite inspiring. We have some time left here to talk about to go a little bit deeper into the many aspects that have been treated. So we have quite some questions in the row here. So a first general question, and I think this was more, I think, related to the first. To the first application of the digital journey, it's on which part, because we saw a kind of Yara platform, but what type of platform is behind that? Is it Amazon or is it any other platform? Can you talk a little bit more about the architecture behind?
Yes, I can, absolutely. So I think on the overall platform side, we are currently working on an Azure-based, so Microsoft Azure-based cloud platform, which we call our DPP, or our Digital Production Platform version 1.0. And then we are also right now in the middle of a setup where we are also piloting some other technologies. We're also looking into AWS at the moment, which may also mean a shift, but that is the current setup.
Yeah. Okay, so, and you're running that, it's a private cloud, or how security issues, because that's also a risk, isn't it? So how do you manage data security?
Absolutely, that's always a significant element in all our evaluations, and of course also inside of Yara there are separate and clear teams set aside for managing information security and managing cybersecurity, also when it comes to the IT and OT interface. So here there are clear both guidelines, structures, and also in evaluations being done in terms of making sure that every step we do needs to be clear and safe before it is executed. So this is high on the agenda, but we believe that it is possible to actually get to these points where you do have data streaming from the site to the edge to the cloud in a safe manner.
Yeah, and as being a group program manager, so do the different sites of Yara interact? So does another site on the other side of the world learn from the data from Yara in Tertre, or how is that? Is that something for the future?
I think it's a very good question. It's definitely one topic that we see on the agenda. I would, if I were honest with you, I would say it's probably one for the future still. There are central units taking advantage of data from different sites. But where we want to get to is also more sort of cross-learning across the different sites on that data. point of view. We are still not very far on our journey, but we see great opportunities ahead.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Interesting. So I think then we can go maybe to a question to Mr. Vlam, which is something related to that. You had a very interesting slide stating we have data science by not data scientists. Can you maybe you can revert back? Yeah, that's the slide. So maybe you can revert back a little bit to that slide, yeah, and explain a little bit what do you mean by that? Who are the non-data scientists, and why can they use this and not something else?
Yeah, actually, this application here developed with TrendMiner is a trending, let's say, tools which can be used, let's say, as a normal manner, but where you have a lot of dedicated, let's say, application inside where you can do some data mining. The data mining is that's a specialty by itself. That's not something, let's say, that the chemical engineer or the maintenance engineer itself is really aware about it, or it's something which is quite fresh, quite new, and that you need from time to time so dedicated tools to launch it and to be in it, let's say, when available. And here there is definitely an opportunity to introduce this data mining system through the engineers, the homemade engineers here. And it's not really complicated. It's not something, let's say, which is going to the sky. It's just application available with widget that you can apply it and push the system in order to propose some interesting filtering, data comparison, and sometimes as well some dedicated, let's say, main parameters, which is influencing your behavior of your plants or whatever. So when you have a tremendous upset which is coming, you can see and you can, with some tunings, define what are the main parameter which is influencing your process. And without, let's say, data mining, let's say, application, or without a big knowledge on it, can be, let's say, a challenge.
Yeah. Okay. So this is a tool that helps you to make the data accessible and to identify some trends and correlations that you maybe were not aware of before.
Exactly.
Okay. And so
we have as well the possibility to create our own dashboard about it. So to figure out and to create some alarm if there is any major deviation with the time. You have some alarm which is making, let's say, you aware about the fact that something is happening on your plants, and you know that this behavior of training can, let's say, lead to a major upset or to a perturbation on your productivity, on your safety, or on your quality.
Yeah, and so how many reliability engineers are using this currently?
They are on site here on Tertre site. There are at least 5. But we are ongoing, let's say, to increase that on the future, because we are ongoing, let's say, to increase our reliability department as well. We have brand new commerce which is coming to help us on that. And on Yara, I think that we are more, let's say, than 20, at least 50% which are using that on the current basis. It permits as well, when you are going, let's say, to other plants, to share the same practice, because you are sharing the same interface. So you are not loose, let's say, by the different PSG historian use by other plants, because everyone is mainly using this kind of trending system right now. So you can go, let's say, in Babrala, or you can go in Australia, or whatever. You will use the same application if the rollout is already ready there.
Yeah. Okay. And so just to make sure, this is pulling data from the cloud. That is, or from an historian, a local historian. How does that work?
It's directly linked with the process historian database.
Yeah. Okay.
Directly. Yeah. There is no kind of cloud buffer. There is directly a direct link there.
Yeah. Okay. So it's interesting. And did your reliability engineers needed to go through some training in order to start using this, or?
There is a few trainings. I would say it's quite user friendly and really intuitive. So if you are, I would say, interested, and if you have a little sensibility about IT, I think it's quite easily accessible. To be honest, it's not really rocket science, but you need some session of introduction. And if you are following TrendMiner on YouTube or whatever, they are really developing huge, let's say, aspect on the training point of view, with different, let's say, session dedicated for different aspect of the tool. So more than you are using, more that you like it, and more you are following, let's say, the TrendMiner tools which are dedicated for the training.
Okay, interesting. So, if I'm not mistaken, the next one, if you wouldn't mind, I think the next one was on the energy load curve. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yes. So, a question here. So, I can imagine that the advanced process control, they say, you need to adapt the parameters in this way. Yeah?
Yeah.
And then on the other hand, you have here the energy load curve. And he is saying to the operator, look, you need to adapt the parameters in another way. So the question is, can both systems contradict at some points? And then what does the operator do?
That's a really good question, Wim. To be honest, we discussed about it. This application was developed prior to the APC. And when the APC rollout was coming, I was putting exactly the same question than you. And at the end, with the rollout, let's say, responsible, it was clearly, let's say, an advantage to have this kind of tools available here in parallel of the APC, because the APC will tune the plant, but it will tune as it should be, let's say, and as it's commissioned. It will not, let's say, influence, let's say, the parameters of the plant with the time. It's just, let's say, tune the plant as it should be and as it is commissioned. So here, having this kind of energy load curve in parallel is always, let's say, challenging the APC application. So if we are not, let's say, in line with the APC after a certain moment, we can challenge, let's say, the parameters of the APC, because we know that here, comparing to the theoretical curve and the practical curve, we have, let's say, a gap, and this gap should be covered by the APC application after tuning and after describing what kind of parameter can be tuned due to the application here, which is developed by the energy. And to be honest, Tertre was really a pilot on that, because I think we are the only one which is having an APC with a parallel, an energy load curve with an advanced analytics models. Plenty of plants have energy load curve right now running, but not with an advanced analytics models as here in Tertre.
Yeah, and so just to good understand how this energy load curve is working. So as an operator, you kind of get some. Well, maybe you can explain to me, because
so
how it works. Yeah.
This is shown on the control room. Huh? So this is shown on the control room. And for instance, you have your operation point here, which is just on the theoretical curve. But if you let me, I can share you my screen. I have it here. And so we have online here the energy load curve of the plant. You see the screen? Yeah, normally you should.
Yes, we do see.
That's it.
Thank you.
And so what we can see is that we are nearly, let's say, for the maximum demonstration rate of the plant. But I see that my operational point is really quite far from the theoretical curve. And that's quite normal, because here we have some issue with some gas meters, and the theoretical curve was renewed a few weeks ago in line with the energy load curve here. So right now, to reach this target here is more difficult than on the commissioning of the application. That's why there's still a gap. But anyhow, you can see that there is some parameter here which is described and which is giving guidance to the operator to try to reach this point, because what is telling this application is that, guy, you have something to do, and you can achieve it because with the same parameters, external temperature, controlling by the operator or not, you have already succeeded. So please try to do it. And it's completely in line with the lean management system when we try to develop application where the operator and the shift leader can take decision and not be idle, let's say, by any, let's say, thinking like, oh, it's external weather, or it's normal, it's raining today, or what. I don't know exactly what kind of excuse can be fine, but there is always a good excuse not to push the plant, let's say, to its maximum demonstration hit. But here is not the case. We have already reached this kind of point with the same condition. So please, as a lean, you need to achieve it. And at the end of the shift, they can scale where they are compared, let's say, to the maximum best performance, because we have a gauge here which can easily describe to the guy, by my shift, I was performant or not.
Okay, so it is in fact, this system is motivating the operators for shifting some settings and changing some settings in order to attain better energy performance.
Yeah, and mainly that, more than that, we have also induced some cost saving, which is behind in line with the cost of the natural gas that we have here on the site. We are giving some guidance about how much cost they are saving, let's say, during the shift, due to the fact that they are below the red curve. It's quite motivating for them as well, because sometimes they know that the gas is quite costly, but they don't know exactly how much they have saved because they have well performed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so this is a big motivator. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, interesting. So and this contradiction, it doesn't exist as we it was.
Excuse me, Wim, I didn't.
So that we started this topic with, is there a contradiction possible between the energy load curve and the APC? So, but that is not the case, in fact.
This is not the case, and it's more a kind of dedicated online support which can fine-tune the APC time after time, because the APC is really turned about productivity.
Yeah.
And there is some new capture right now and some new tuning that we have developed with IPCOS about some energy sensibility, but not as it should. This parallel application gives us some guidance about the energy as well, which is, as it was already mentioned, a quite important factor here.
Yeah, okay. So a next question popping up on the screen here is, okay, it's also related to some correlation. So then I think, was it the next slide or so, you talked about these inspection rounds?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. So you have a system here. Are those data collections, are they immediately digitized and are they put into the ERP system, the CMS system, or are they put immediately also on the cloud?
So here, perhaps that Alexander can confirm as well. But here, the data is really, let's say, extract from the system and directly going, let's say, to a kind of data pool and re-extract to the Power BI, let's say, dedicated report here. So you have not any connection between the data here available and the ERP. But the other application, which is here behind and ongoing to be developed on the site, will permit, during the run and the digital run performed by the operator, to also make some maintenance notification and also to give some guidance to the maintenance department in order to achieve and to resolve the deviance which is observed by the digital workers.
Yeah. Okay. So you have this. Those are the operator guys doing this this digital rounds. I can imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And so their input is put directly into the cloud. That's correct. Then.
Exactly. For the time being, that's the first step. But the second step will permit them, let's say, to make a notification in case of deviance.
Yeah. Okay. And then is my question: is that this visual data, is that somehow connected back to the other systems like the APC or like the energy load curve, because they have detected a kind of a meter setting, for instance, that is not digital for the moment, but thanks to the visual control, now you have a data point. Is that taken into account?
The two systems has not yet, let's say, connected to each other. But anyhow, here it's permit to the shift leader, say we need to have on real time what is the field process parameter and to take action on the control room when needed.
Yeah.
So I think here there's also a journey, women, in terms of where we're heading, and definitely those are interesting topics that also are on our agenda. What you're saying, to connect back these data points and also to look at these type of data points not only for Tertre but also for sites globally.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So very interesting indeed. So next question is. I think it's a kind of summarizing question, I guess, and it's specifically asked here for the return on investment for the energy load curve application. But maybe we can take it in a whole and dig a little bit deeper into the other applications too. So, what are typical returns on this type of applications?
I cannot give, let's say, really an accurate, let's say, a number, but I can give, let's say, an assumption that which was already calculated here. With the 0.15 gigajoule per ton saving here, we are around saving on energy cost point of view around between 200 and 300,000 euro per year.
Yeah, so that's
the kind of a return of investment is for an APC, the return of investment is nearly, let's say, 2 years.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Anywhere between 6 months and 2 years, I would say.
Yeah,
Aurelien,
exactly.
depending on the
So
Yeah,
it's
you're
really
right.
worthwhile investing in these type of solutions. Hey, if you can save energy nowadays, energy of course has a direct cost, so it's easy to calculate our return on investment. So
it's energy saving, but also CO2 footprint saving, which is really important for the decarbonization strategy that we are ongoing as well here on the corporate point of view. So that's also a beneficial on that as well.
Yeah. Okay. So and return on investment in terms of more reliability, etc., more uptime. Have you seen that already? And if yes, maybe you can elaborate a little bit.
I have a brief flash example which come to my mind. We take the decision to stop, let's say, the ammonia plants in May 2020 because we see a defect failure on one of the machines, which was really, let's say, going worse and worse. And this is another, let's say, application. It was on the rotating machinery, let's say, application developed by YD Tech, which was discussed here. So with the trending here, there was some vibration which was ongoing on the machine, which was giving us, let's say, impression that if we still like that, we'll have a major, let's say, outage of the machine, which will come. Without this application, the decision gate, let's say, was for sure too late. And so here we decided to stop the ammonia plants, which was a cost-wide decision, but really say less than having a outage which is unforeseen with all the tremendous, let's say, timing issue that can occur with all the spare management and reparation and restart of the plant afterwards. So you can imagine it was not, let's say, it's a kind of thing that I have on my to-do list is to make a kind of school case of this saving, let's say, due to the application alert. But to be honest, I have not yet done it. But this is the kind of thing that we have done, let's say, on the last months, and the decision was really guided by the application of rotating follow-up here described.
Yeah, you're touching on one of the big challenges of reliability, of course. How do you value something that hasn't happened?
Because with this kind of application, what is really important is that you have a timeline possibility. When you have a deviation of 1 micron, let's say every week, that's peanuts, 1 microns. But when you have making an unzoom of the situation that you see that in 6 months, you have passing through 60 microns to 70 microns, and that the shutdown, let's say, or the outbreak will come at 80, you know the timeline which is leaving on the plant, and that you need to take the decision prior, let's say, the outage. And that's something that we are correlating with the follow-up meeting, which is dedicated to this application every month with the production department, the reliability department, and the rotating department together.
Yeah. So, Alexander, have you witnessed other typical cases, maybe at other sites, where this kind of digital follow-up has proven to be very interesting and very sound?
Yeah, absolutely. I think both in terms of the type of examples that Aurelien mentioned now, we've seen at plants in Italy, we've seen it at plants in Netherlands, etc. So that type of catches, and then of course you raise an interesting point. How do you value something that you prevented from happening? Would it have happened? Would you have catched it somewhere in one other way? That is always an opportunity, of course. But I think we can see it from these type of applications. We can see it also from the type of applications like the digital control rounds that we've talked about here. There are also concrete examples there where through that application and through the fact that it was also put forward and into a visualization and catched for the site supervisor or the shift supervisors to really say, okay, here we need to act and we need to act now, meant that we have avoided these type of issues where pumps break down, etc. Simply by making the information, it's not very advanced, right? It's about capturing information and making it visual. But through that, actually being able to then stop these type of activities from happening.
Yeah. So if you look at the Yara Tertre and you compare the digital efforts they're doing compared to other sites throughout the world, where would you place them?
I would say Yara Tertre is a front runner on many topics, absolutely. And I think there's also, it's really, really interesting to work with the site because they're so engaged and sort of put forward so much also effort locally, which is, to be honest, right, from a corporate point of view, we really rely on that. The pull also from the site. It's really when a team like myself in the central team, when we can work really closely together with the site, going back to my point on value first and really understanding the problems. And to really understand the problems, we need to work with the likes of Aurélien. And Tertre has really stepped forward there and being one of the sites that are really taking the step. As we've seen today, I think, and also I have to give them credit also for the journey that started also before my department even existed, which also shows that there is a real interest and drive locally.
Yeah, okay. And so from a corporate point of view of scalability, is that an issue where you're thinking about, and how do you take that into account when going forward with projects and or stopping some projects?
For sure. I think the scalability is always going to be a key element of building a solid business case. And of course, we've seen today many examples of software that is also bought from partners, but some elements we also build. And of course, the time you start investing in building a application, building a software, you need to have a business case behind it that can sort of justify that type of investment. And then you need typically to start talking about the scalability global. And that's where the digital production platform really comes into play. The ability then to have access to the data center, but also to build components that you can share and easily deploy globally.
Yeah. Okay. So any closing remarks, important points that we maybe have not touched yet that you would like to share? Alexander, maybe first, and then we'll finish off with Aurélien.
I'll just say thank you for a very interesting session. It's been very interesting both to look at the presentations earlier today and the presentation now with the questions. It's really interesting, and I think I will leave you with sort of just the comment that I made before I handed over to Aurélien. The focus needs to be on understanding the problems, and then the technology comes.
I think that everything is giving here with the last comment of Alexander. To be honest, it's really an opportunity to work in this kind of company when you see so much effort and so much competence which is dedicated to the future about, let's say, digital application, but also about decarbonization, let's say, of the assets, reliability of the assets. So we are really, let's say, happy to work in this kind of culture, and that's really motivating. And we're still on the train. That's great, really great.
Yeah. Okay. So I think with that we can I think close down your part of the presentation, in fact, and now it's up to our viewers, because they can of course help to decide on who is going to be the winner of the 2020 Asset Performance Award. And so if you have a mobile device, you can go to the voting form using this QR code. And of course, you can also just type in the very easy link bit.ly/API 2020 with a small dash in between. So don't hesitate to share, to give your opinion, to give your rate, and to do so not only for this presentation but also for the other presentations. So I would now next to after this would like to invite everyone to watch us again next week Friday for the next topic of the Asset Performance Awards, and that's being a best improvement project in maintenance and reliability. So we are looking forward for 2 interesting cases there. And then the week after that, we have the technical team of the year. And then, of course, you will be present also on Thursday, October 29th, where we will have a live award show. We have an interesting keynote speaker, Jeroen de Vlaander, who will talk about how to motivate people to enter into this digital journey. And then, of course, we'll have a chat again with you guys, and we hope to be able to announce you or maybe someone else as the winner. Looking forward for the next sessions, and looking forward to welcome everyone again on our Asset Performance 4.0 platform. Thank you very much. See you next time. Bye.
Bye-bye. See you.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.